Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashakrutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tama Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatomyaham Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. We were on the portion where the student has examined the world outside and the world inside. He is learned enough now to know that there is no happiness, permanent happiness in the outside world. Whatever happiness that he gets is impermanent, fleeting, ephemeral, and so he has done the Shreya Prayer Vivek. He knows what is good for him. He knows what he wants. The world inside is to know definitively what I want, because unless I know what I want, why would I even go for it? So now he wants that permanent happiness, and so he has approached a guru who is a Kshotriya and a Brahmanishta. He has surrendered to the guru. He says, I'm getting burnt in this fire of sansara, not that he's physically getting burned, but he understands that what he's going through is constant up and down. There is joy today, sorrow tomorrow, and so this fluctuations in his mental states. He wants peace, and so he approaches and surrenders to the guru, who reassures him, do not be afraid. There is a solution to your problem, and I will take you out of this fire of sansar, this realm of change. What gives sorrow is change. The realm of change gives us sorrow, and as long as we are identified with that change, we tend to become very sorrowful. But when we disidentify with it and we identify with the changeless substratum, that is where ignorance ends. And this is what now we are on verse 47. Ajnana yogat paramatvanastvah Ajnana yogat paramatmanastava yanatma bandhas tataeva samsritihi tayor viveko didabodhavanni Vannihi ajnana karyam pradahet samulam. It is indeed through contact with ignorance that you, who are the Supreme Self, experience yourself to be under the bondage of the not self. From this misunderstanding alone proceed the worlds of births and deaths. All the effects of ignorance, root and branch, are burned down by the blaze of knowledge, which arises from discrimination between these two, the self and the not self. What the Guru is telling him, because the disciple is saying, I am drowning in this ocean of sansar, in this ocean of sorrow. And first of all, what is to be known is what is the cause of that sorrow. There is a cause and then there is a symptom. Now, what happens in the world is we keep treating the symptom, we keep treating the symptom all the time. And so, yeah, so the symptom is treated, it is okay, I feel happy for a while, but the cause has not gone away. And because the cause is there, that symptom will reappear again and again, it will come. So it's like, you have an infection in your chest, you're not treating that, you're only treating the fever, you're only treating what is happening outside, and then the cause remains, and the fever, whatever the symptom is, keeps coming back. So until the cause is taken care of. So that's why the Guru is telling the student what is the main cause. Contact with ignorance means our own ignorance. He's telling the disciple, you're ignorant. Ignorance of what? I know so many things. I know so many subjects. I am so good at this, that, and the other. But I am ignorant of who I actually am. What I think, because I'm identified with my matter envelopments. Matter envelopments are the body, mind, and intellect. And body, mind, and intellect are in the realm of change, so they keep on changing. We ourselves know our body has changed, mind has changed, intellect has changed. Not only that, of course, the world around us definitely has changed. Now when change happens, there is stress, and when change happens, sometimes it makes us happy. Change makes us happy also, but it makes us sorrowful as well. And that's why we keep going up and down. Today I'm happy, tomorrow's sorrowful. So I keep going up and down because I have identified with that which is changing. And identification means I consider myself to be that. I consider myself to be the body. So when the body gets old, I say, I'm getting old. Now I'm sorrowful. When the hair starts going gray, I say, oh, my hair is going gray. It is not my body. It is not the body, mind, and intellect are something other than us. This is what scriptures are saying. Okay, so the scriptures are telling us that you are not this body, mind, intellect that you think you are. You are something other than the body, mind, and intellect. So in delusion, this is what delusion is, this is what wrong thinking is. You have taken something else upon yourself, something else to be yourself. You have taken this body to be yourself, and that is the ignorance. Taking the body to be myself is what the primordial cause of sorrow is, and that is the ignorance. That is the primary ignorance. So it says, you who are the supreme self, you are that pure consciousness, you are that unchanging substratum. You are, in our rope and snake example, you are the rope, but you have taken yourself to be the snake. And now whatever happens to that snake, you think it's happening to you. And then you're becoming sorrowful. So self, experience yourself to be under the bondage of the not self. What is bondage? Bondage is, it's called granthi. Granthi is something which ties you. Bondage is what you are bound. Say now we are bound in our own houses, right? Where there is not that freedom of movement. That is what bondage is. Now, what am I bound to? What do I get bound to, and how do I get bound? So what happens is I consider myself to be the body, which is the not self. The body is inert, and we'll see that later. But anyway, for now, the body is inert. I've considered myself to be the body. Because I am the body, I have to pamper the body. The body needs so many things. And then there are a lot of desires because I've identified with the mind. In the mind, there are desires. They are all my desires, and I have to fulfill them. So to fulfill those desires, I do action. Because how do I fulfill the desire? If I have a desire to, go up the corporate ladder, become a CEO, get a house, get a car, how do I fulfill all those desires? Those desires are arising out of a sense of incompleteness. Because I feel that I don't have this type of a car, that type of a house, this type of a job, I feel incomplete. I have that desire to come to fulfill that desire. I perform action. And because I don't know how that action is to be performed, how do I perform that action? I get entangled in that karma, in that action. That action will give result. That is the law of karma. It is a law. So it's like a gravitational law. If you throw something up in the air, it's going to come down. Karma is exactly like that. You do a karma, there will be a result waiting for you, either in this life or in the next life. And now there are so many karmas that have been done to fulfill so many desires. These karmas have to get result. Now that result has to be experienced by me. And so what happens is, after death, I get born again to fulfill those, to experience those results. That is what bondage is as per Vedanta. So what has happened is, where am I bound? Physically, of course not, I'm not bound. Nobody's tied me into the house. I can go out and do whatever. But what I'm doing is, by considering myself to be incomplete. Why? Because I consider myself to be the body, mind, and intellect. I have a lot of desires. I do a lot of actions. Those actions are giving results. And to experience those results, I have to again come back in a body. And this is how I'm going through birth and death. And this is what the bondage is. That is the bondage, which we don't recognize. There are lots and lots of people, and we'll be talking about that school as well, who think that there was nothing before birth and there's going to be nothing after death. And so they say, okay, you're born, and after death, the story is going to end. So eat, drink, and be merry. But Vedanta doesn't say that. There is a law of karma, because the reason that you have come in this body is because of something that you have done in the past, and what you do in the present will determine what is going to come in the future. And this is the way karmas keep us bound in this cycle of sansar. So it's a cycle. It's you get born, you have desires, you do karmas, there is result. That result is to be experienced. So there is another body, and then in that body again you do more actions, and then there are more experiences, there are more results that have to be experienced. And that is what bondage is. Now, the original cause of this bondage is not knowing who I really am. If I come to know that I am that pure self, that complete happiness, source of happiness, I myself am the source of happiness, I will not run after objects or people or situations looking for happiness. It is something like a cube of sugar was running after a piece of chocolate. And somebody asked the cube, why are you running after that chocolate? And the cube said, I want sweetness. I want sweetness. Chocolate is sweet. I want sweet. So I'm running after the chocolate, forgetting that it itself is the source of sweetness for that chocolate. The cube of sugar is the source for the sweetness in the chocolate. And now the sugar only is running after the chocolate to get sweetness. That is what we are doing. We are complete. We in ourselves are the source of happiness, not knowing that. This is the primordial ignorance. Not knowing that I myself am the source of happiness, I keep running after external things. And because I keep running, I create more and more vasanas, more and more results. And that is what the bondage is. Now, all the effects of ignorance, root and branch, are burned down by the blaze of knowledge. This blaze of knowledge is a recognition that I am that pure self. What will happen when I actually recognize it? Recognize means realize it. A self-realized person comes to immediately recognize that actually there is nothing other than me. Two, three things happen simultaneously. One thing is that nothing is other than me. See, a desire arises only for something which is other than me. Do I desire, will I ever desire a head? See, I can desire a beautiful face because I think that my face is not beautiful. So I can say I want, so I'll do a facelift. But a head, I already have, not brains. I can desire brains. I don't have brains. I can that I can. But this physical head that I have, will I desire another head? Like I want another head on, like Ramana, I want, 10 heads. What I already have, I cannot desire. It is not possible. The reason that desire arises in the first place is because I think that this is separate from me and I don't have it. And the reason that I even want it is because I think that it will make me happy. It is only a thought. Happiness is only a thought. So I think that this particular thing, and when I say thing, object, situation, person, will make me happy. I am incomplete, and because of that, I want this thing. Now, in this blaze of knowledge, that's why Bhagavad Gita also says that ignorance gets burnt away by knowledge. So in this blaze of knowledge, what is the blaze of knowledge? Is to recognize at once that I am that supreme self. I am myself the source of happiness. Everything else is only my reflection only. There is nothing other than me in this entire universe. This entire universe is supported by me. Now, if there is nothing other than me, am I going to run? Who do I run after? There is nothing. Wherever I run, it's me only. And I myself am the source. Why would I run after something thinking that that will give me happiness, when the actual happiness is coming from within me itself? But that is the part that we don't know. We don't know. As we have heard it now, we are hearing it, but we have not realized it, we have not recognized it. And so bliss, which arises from discrimination between these two, and that's why the highest definition of Viveka that Bhagavan Shankaracharya has given is a discrimination between self and not self. So if I come to recognize that everything in this world, including my body, mind, and intellect, is the not self. It is inert. Our first main thing is we think my body is alive. We think it's sentient. It is not. That is what we think. And that thinking itself is delusional. It is wrong thinking. It is ignorance. And because of that, all these sorrows are arising. Okay. So once the cause goes away, there are many symptoms. There is one cause and there are many symptoms. Even if you take your own health, there is just one infection somewhere, then it gives you a headache, it gives you fever, it gives you chills, it gives you a runny nose. There are many symptoms of one cause. So instead of dealing with these many symptoms, that's what doctors say, oh, forget the fever, oh, forget the runny nose, forget it. I'm giving you antibiotic for the infection. I'm not even going to worry about these symptoms. I'm going to treat only that one original cause. So this is what the Guru, Vedantic Guru does, is treats that one original cause, which is ignorance, and opposite of ignorance is knowledge. Because if I have darkness, I need light. I cannot sweep darkness away. I cannot do any action. So knowledge only is the antidote for ignorance. And that knowledge, that's why the blaze of knowledge. And he says, that is the knowledge that I will give you. And therefore you will be permanently liberated from this ocean of sansar, which is nothing but sorrow. Okay. Now, questions of the disciple. I told you that there are very many important questions that come up. And this is the verse here, which all the questions are coming. If we ask for anything other than these type of questions to a realized master, to a Vedantic master, it will be like asking for a begging bowl to beg in the world. I told you the beggar went to the king and said, I want a bowl. Why? I want to beg. So if we don't want to beg, what are we begging for? Happiness. What we are begging for, what we are going after is happiness. So if you don't want to do that, these are the questions that he will ask in 49. Shishya vacha kripaya shruyata swamin kripaya shruyatam swamin prashnoyam kriyate maya yaduttaramaham shrutva kritarthasyam bhavan mukhat. The Shishya said, kindly listen, O Master, Kripaya Shruyatam, to the questions that I now raise. Hearing the answers from your lips, I shall feel entirely satisfied. So now, in the beginning, a few verses before, he had asked 3 questions. Now, after listening to the Guru, now he's more definitive in his questioning. We see the same pattern in Kathopanishad, when Nachiketas asks a question and then the Lord Yama, tries to entice him to forget that one question. But because of that, he actually then has more clarity in his intellect. And then he asks a very, very clear, pertinent question. That is the same pattern here. He asked 3 questions, which were good questions, but now there are the 7, these are the 7 questions that he will be asking. को नाम बन्धः कथमेषागतः कथं प्रतिष्ठास्य कथं विमोक्षः को सावनात्मा परमकात्मा तयोर्विवेक कथमेतदुच्यताम्. What is bondage? Ko naam bandha. What is bondage? Question number 1. How has it come? 2. How does it continue to exist? Where from it came and it is still existing? 3. How can one get out of it completely? 4. What is the not self? You say not self, discriminate between self and not self. Not what is not self? Who is the supreme self? So there is a not self and a self. That's what we said. Discrimination is. Okay, so what are you talking when you say not self? What are you talking when you say self? And what is the process of discrimination between these two, self and not self? Please explain all these to me. Okay, so he has recognized that he's in bondage. And bondage, I told you, is this bondage of birth and death, constant birth and death. We don't have memory of our birth, and we really we have no memory of our past lives. So it is hard. We think that, okay, we're born and now we live and then we'll die. But this is where the scriptures come in. This is where the Guru comes in and tells us that this is just in your whole sand, beach of existence. This life is maybe just a grain of sand. That is what we need to recognize, that this is not, that's it, I began here and I'm going to end here. No, the jiva is going to continue. It's a journey. It's a journey. And every time I'm getting a body, a different, God knows what kind of bodies I was in, and God knows what kind of bodies I will get. So if I have got a chance in this life to release myself, then I must avail of it. Because human body is the only body through which you can get realization. Samarth Ramdas, a Marathi saint, in his Das Bodh, is exactly saying the same thing. He there also he explains how rare this birth is, how rare the human body is. So he says, don't waste it. It's very precious. And this is what you must use that body to liberate yourself. Okay? And where did it come from? How did I come to be bound? I don't even know how I came to be bound. And how does it continue to exist? Why does it exist? And then how do I get liberated from him? If there is a bondage, there must be some sort of liberation that you said, that I will liberate you from this sorrow, from this sansar. And then what is anatma, not self, and what is atma? I need to know. And how do I discriminate between the two? So the entire book after this text will answer these 7 questions in various different ways. Okay, this is the crux of the whole book, these questions. So the next heading is intelligent disciple appreciated. Now the Guru also is very happy, because Guru doesn't want somebody coming to him and saying, how will I get a job, and when will my daughter get married, and my son is not studying, and all these kinds of things of the sansar, of this extroverted world. A realized master, he will answer, but he will not appreciate, because that person is not a disciple. That person is a worldly person, and okay, he wants worldly answers, and those will be given, but then he is not actually trying to get out of that bondage. Okay, so here the guru is appreciating the disciple. Shri Guru Ruvacha Dhanyosi Kritakrityosi Pavitam te kulam tvaya Yada vidya bandha muktya Brahmi bhavitumicchasi. The Guru replied, blessed you are, dhanyasi. You are very blessed, for you wish to attain the absolute Brahman by freeing yourself from the bondage of ignorance. Indeed, you have fulfilled your life and have glorified your clan. Kulam, you have made your family name very, very glorious by asking this question. The Shruti says that if a man realizes in this life, apparently he releases 7 previous generations and 7 future generations from bondage as well. That is the importance of liberation that Shruti tells us. And okay, what about a woman? If a woman realizes, please listen carefully, she releases 49 generations past and 49 future. So it's much more important or much more fruitful for a woman to realize. This is Shruti. Okay, so that's why he says that you are very blessed indeed that you have thought of even this, because people don't even think of this. Most of the people in the world have not heard. I mean, me too, honestly. Before I came into the mission, even I didn't know. The idea of God was, okay, there is a God, and then you light your lamp and you go to the temple once in a while and you do your puja or you attend pujas, and that was it. The the fact that we are that pure self, this I only came to know when I came into this path. So it's very rare indeed, and already Bhagwan Shankaracharya said that not only the birth is rare, but to come into this path also is very rare. And Bhagwan Shri Krishna has said that also in Bhagavad Gita, that among thousands and thousands, only hundreds aspire to come to me, and out of that hundred, maybe one will come to me. Maybe that is how so if the student has come and he has asked these questions which are so very pertinent, the guru is very happy. That's why he says you're very blessed. Those who are into this path, into the spiritual path, there is no greater blessing than this it people, people think having a lot of wealth, fame, power, money, all these external things, there is a lot of importance to that. But what they don't understand is that no matter how much power you have, no matter how much money you have, fame you have, whatever you have in the external world, does it release you from fear? Fear, see, anything in the external, actually what happens is when a person has more money, he's fearful, who will ask me for money? If he, if he has fame, oh my god, maybe somebody is, having paparazzis, they might make me infamous. So actually fear increases outside. When you material prosperity increases, fear. So this is the only knowledge which will give you freedom from fear. That is the greatness of this knowledge. And therefore, the one who thinks about this knowledge, the one who at least is striving to be on the path, at least is willing to listen to what the masters are saying, even that willingness shows a blessedness. And without the grace of God, we do not come into this path. So if we have come into this path, hold on to it. Hold on to it. That's why he's saying, Dhanyosi, Kritakrityosi. Fulfilled, you're full. Even asking the questions, like you've got on the train, now you're going to reach your destination. We don't even hop on the train, we just are standing by, should I not? So this is why. Now from 51 to 55, it's nice that Gurudev has put these subheadings. Glory of self. The next 3 verses are talking about self-effort, so I'm going to read them together. They're like sort of connected. ऋणमोचनकर्तारः पितु सन्ति सुतादयः बन्धमोचनकर्ता तु स्वस्मादन्यो न कश्चन. A father has his sons and others to save him from his financial debts, but to redeem himself from his delusions there is none but himself. Mastakanyastabhara bharat de मस्तकन्यस्तभारात् दुःखमन्नैर्निवार्यते क्षुधादिकृतदुःखं तु विना स्वेन न केनचित्. Exhaustion and fatigue caused by carrying a load on the head can be relieved by others coming to one's help, but none save one's own self can end the pangs caused by hunger, etc. पथ्यमौषधसेवा च क्रियते येन रोगिणा आरोग्यसिद्धिर्दृष्टास्य नान्यानुष्ठितकर्मणा. The patient who faithfully follows the right diet and takes the proper medicine alone is perceived to recover from his illness. No one recovers because another undergoes the treatment. So you can see the three verses which are telling the student that ultimately it is up to us. Self effort means finally it is up to us, and that is why Gurudev has said, I'm not a mule guru, and the guru cannot give you liberation. Liberation is a thing which is already with me. Please understand, this point is very important. I am already that pure self. It is not that guru is going to make me the pure self, or anybody else can. I am already that. They cannot make me that, what I already am. What I am not, they can make me. I'm not a doctor, engineer. People can train me, teach me. They can make me that, a good cook, a good driver. Whatever is in the external world which I am not, I can become. I'm not rich, I can become rich. I'm not educated, I can become educated. I don't know certain languages, I can learn. In the external world, I can become. Here there is no becoming. It is only recognizing what I am. And therefore, that recognition I only have to do. How can somebody else recognize that for me? It can't. And therefore, three examples are given. So he says that there is a father and he has sons, and the father is in financial debt, external, right? He is in financial debt or whatever debt. The sons can come forth. Why the sons? Friends can come forth, bank can come forth, give a loan and help you get out of the debt, right? Anybody else can do it. But his own wrong thinking, how can somebody else remove that? It is his thinking. So it is his wrong thinking. So he needs to think right and reverse his thinking. So it's this is what is being emphasized, is that the effort has to be put in by me. The guru can teach, the guru can tell, but I have to have faith and follow the instructions of the guru to realize. So that part nobody else can do for me. And the next one is the exhaustion and fatigue. So I'm carrying a load, somebody else can carry it for me. I can carry it, one shoulder is getting tired, I can put it on the other shoulder. I can put it on my head and carry, I can put it, anything. But then if pangs caused by hunger, if I am hungry, how can anybody else eat for me? I have to eat myself. Now it's my hunger, I have to eat myself. And the same thing is, the one who is sick has to take the medication. See, the doctor can write a prescription, no problem. But if I don't take it myself, then how will I get cured? The doctor can help me, tell me the way. Okay, you are sick and this is what you need to take, this medication. But if I don't swallow that medication, how do I get better? It's same thing with Vedanta. Ignorance is mine. Okay, the guru can give me the knowledge, can tell me why I'm ignorant, can tell me the reasons, can tell me everything, but I need to follow the path actually that the guru is telling me. So if the Shruti is telling us Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhi Dhyasanam, if the Shruti is telling us develop Viveka, develop Vairagya, we have to develop those qualities. Therefore, we see in chapter 13 also, Bhagwan, even before telling the final, he says, first develop these virtues. Unless you have these virtues, you cannot understand the final truth. And those virtues have to be developed by me myself. The guru can tell me what amanitvam is, adhambitvam. He can tell me the meaning, but doing is my job. This is what is being said here in these three verses. Okay, so never estimate The effort is required. Grace is required, but grace cannot come without effort. And so effort is very, very important, and it is self-effort. Means I have to put in effort. Okay. Vastu swarupam svutabodha chakshusha svenaiva vedyam natu panditena chandra swarupam nija chakshushaiva nyatavyamannairvagamyate kim. The actuality of things is to be known by a first-hand personal experience through the eye of clear understanding and not through the report of learned men. The beauty of the moon is enjoyed through one's own eyes. Can one appreciate it through the description by others? So again, Vastu Swarupam Svutabodha Chakshusha. Vastu here, again, the final reality, supreme reality. Vastu word comes from Vas Dhatu, to envelope, to pervade. So that's why Vastra also comes, because the Vastra envelopes our body, cloth. So Vastu in Vedantic language, in Hindi, if you say Vastu, Marathi, Vastu means object. But here, Vedantic text, when it says Vastu, it means the supreme reality. And Swarupam, it is my own nature. My nature is that vastu, my nature is that truth, my nature is that supreme reality. Svuta bodha chakshusha, svuta very clearly, bodha chakshusha. So in eyes of intellect, bodha buddha dhatu, to know, you have to know it, you cannot see it. What I really am within, I have to understand it myself. I have to think it myself. The actuality of things is to be known by first-hand personal experience, which you will get in meditation. In the seat of meditation, that is what is actually achieved. So that recognition has to come by my own self. It is like enjoying, and if somebody can describe the moon to me, but if I really want to enjoy it, I should look at the moon. I should myself look at the moon. Other example about moon is given as the branch. So I cannot see the moon, and the guru will show me there is a tree, there is a branch. Look up to the top of the branch and now move your eyes up. But it's up to us to move our eyes up to that moon, to see the moon. The problem with this is the one who realizes, if there is a person who cannot speak, he's dumb. Now he is eating something which is very delicious, but he cannot explain. He cannot explain. So this is what happens in realization, is that you recognize yourself, the realized masters, and they know how much bliss there is, but it's difficult to talk. It is difficult to do. That's why it is actually said that a realized master, they say Brahman is easy to describe, means actually the supreme reality is easy to describe, but not a realized master. You would never know, because he himself, he doesn't know how to tell what he's feeling, not even feeling what he experiences. So that's why this is said that this cannot, when I have underlined this in the last paragraph, Gurudev says, when the self rises in the dark bosom of our ignorance and glides across the horizon of our experiences, that experience cannot be described fully to us by others. It's like a dumb person trying to explain how delicious this dish is, but he can't. This is what happens. That is why we ourselves have to eat that dish. If I want to know how delicious this particular dish is, I must eat it myself. So I must experience this myself. Okay. Now, avidya kama karmadi pashabandham vimochitum kashakyuyad vinatmanam kalpakoti shatairapi. Who else but oneself can help rid oneself of the bondage caused by the chains of ignorance, desire, action, etc., even in 100 crore of kalpas? This ignorance, desire, and action, I actually explained it before also, just a while back. It is known, technically known as Hridaya Granthi. It's a technical word. Hriday Granthi. Granthi is a knot, and the purpose of a knot is to tie, right? We'll tie a knot to a bag, we'll tie a knot. Now, Hriday heart, these are the knots of the heart. This is Vedantic terminology. And this, what is this knot? Is this ignorance, desire, and action. These three things are the knot which tie us to the cycle of birth and death. And that is what bondage is. And I already explained ignorance of what? Ignorance of my true self, ignorance of the fact that I am myself the source of happiness, ignorance of the fact that this entire world is nothing but my own reflection. So what am I going to desire out of this world, which is my own reflection? If I see my own reflection in a mirror, do I desire anything? Can I desire anything from that reflection? I know it's my own reflection. So because I'm ignorant of this fact, I feel incomplete. I feel my happiness lies somewhere else and I want to get that. And that desire arises, and then that desire is followed by action. Because when that desire becomes very intense, it'll germinate an action at the level of the body. And that action will give a result, and that result has to be experienced by me only. The law of karma, one thing about the law of karma is that whoever does that karma, that jiva, the body will perish. That jiva only must experience that result. And that is the reason that we say that there should be no blame game. If I fall sick, if there is some experience that even good, if I win a lottery tomorrow, there is nobody else to give credit for. It is my own karma that I have done in the past, which has given me that result. Both results, good and bad, happy and sad. There are only two types of results, happy and sad result. And some results are coming immediately. They come immediately, are experienced immediately, but some of them are saved for a future time or a future birth. Like if I'm hungry and then I cook a meal and I eat, immediate result. That desire to fulfill my hunger, karma to cook the food, and then eating, and then the result. So finish. That whole chain is over. But then there are many more actions where the result is adrishta. Adrishta result means not seen. Some results, drishta, they're seen right away. Okay, I ate, my hunger result got right away. But some of them are not seen, and they will fructify in the future. So the present is the future of my past actions. I have done actions in the past, and those actions are now germinating these results. Whatever. I met my guru, or whatever, I'm on this path. Even the fact that we are on this path, there is something that we have done in the past because of which we are here. So that's why when anything bad happens to me also, I do not blame anybody else. Oh, you did it, that's why this happened. Or you did it, that's why I won in both ways. We need not. We have to take risk. What we do, when we get sukha, then immediately we take credit. I did and I got it. But when something, every time, I'm late, traffic. Now in Vancouver, don't even ask. Construction on every street. No, you don't blame. You were destined to reach late that place. Because of something, everything, there is nothing happening by coincidence. Huh? Another thing, please remember, every minute, every second of our life is predetermined. What is going to happen? What am I going to say? What am I going to do? Everything is predetermined. So if I'm destined to reach late, I get caught in traffic, and then what do I say? It was because of the traffic that I got late. It's not because of the traffic. Always. Anything happens in our life. So this avidya granthi or hriday granthi, avidya kama karma, that is the Sanskrit words, avidya ignorance, kama desire, and this thing. So unless these knots are cut asunder, Upanishad says hriday granthi chindante hriday, chindan Mundaka Upanishad, these knots are cut asunder. They have to be cut. How do you cut them? By the original cause, by knowledge removing the original cause. The original cause is avidya. That's why avidya is first, then desire, then action. So unless this knot is untied, this is what Bhagwan is saying, unless it, till the end of the how many kalpas, you'll just keep on going through birth and death. It will not end. Okay, this is what this thing. Even in 100 crores of kalpas, holy smokes, one kalpa only is so big. If 100 crores means we'll just be keeping on going through them. Apparently it is said that Gautam Buddha, he after he realized, he looked back into his own past, and the reason that they can do that is because now they have transcended time. He had gone through 500 births. That's what it is documented. Anyway, now knowledge of the self. न न योगेन न सांख्येन कर्मणा नो न विद्यया ब्रह्मात्मैकत्वबोधेन मोक्षस्सिद्ध्यति नान्यथा. Neither by yoga, nor by sankhya, nor by ritual, nor by learning is liberation possible. Only by the realization of one's identity with Brahman is liberation possible, not by any other means. Now here, Gurudev also has said here, altogether there are 6 schools of philosophical thoughts. So here we give a little bit of information. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I will tell you a little bit about the schools of philosophy and what their philosophies are. So Gurudev has written 6. There are actually the 6 schools that he mentions are the ones which are the astic schools. So there are 2 categories in the schools of philosophy. There are totally 12. 6 Nastic and 6 Astic. Now, Nastic and Astic must be understood correctly. We think that Nastic is the one who doesn't believe in God, and Astic is the one who believes in God. That is not correct. Nastic is the one who does not believe in the Vedas. In the Veda Pramana, they deny. They say, no, it is not whatever Vedas say. Vedas are just these books, and that is not Pramana. Because we, Vedantins, we call Vedas as the Pramana, the final source of knowledge. There is nothing beyond the Vedas. That is what we say. So those who believe in the Vedas are the Astics, and those who do not believe in the Vedas are the Nastics. The Nastic schools, I will just tell you them. There are sects. So there's Charvak, there's Jainism falls under there, and there are 4 sects in Buddhism. They fall under there. So Jainism, Buddhism, and Charvaks. But in Buddhism there are 4, because after Buddha attained Nirvana, he gave his mortal coil. Before he did that, his disciples asked him, uh, what is the teaching? And he kept silent. So when he passed, all the disciples meditated, and then there were 4 sects that were formed because he kept silent. So anyway, it doesn't matter. So but they do not believe in the Vedas. And the reason that Buddha did not, because at his time, the Vedas had, the Brahmins had made such a big deal out of the Vedas that only the Brahmins can do this, and only the nobody else can do this. That is what he was not very for, and he denied. So anyway, that is the thing. Now the 6 schools of philosophical thought which are actually believing in the Vedas are the Nayayikas, which is the Nyaya school, the Vaisheshika school, the Sankhyans, so Sankhya school, Yoga school, and then there is Purva Mimamsa and Uttar Mimamsa. Okay, we belong to Uttar Mimamsa. Please understand. We means Bhagwan Shankaracharya. In Uttar Mimamsa, there are 3 sects or 3 thoughts, 3 lines of thought. Dvaita, which is duality, dualism, where God is, they believe in Vedas, they quote Vedas, and they say there is a God and I am his child. So all of us are children of God. That is Dvaita. Vishishta Advaita also, they believe in the Vedas, they quote the Vedas, and they say, no, I am a part of God. Qualified non-dualism. Vishishta Advaita. And then Advaita, which is Bhagwan Shankaracharya's, which we are following, is complete non-dualism. So those are the 3. We'll come back to that. And we are in non-dualism. So we are in the final. So we are not Dvaita, we are not Vishishta Advaita, we are in Dvaita. We'll see why these schools came about as well. But here, coming back to the Nyaya school and the Vaisheshika school, we don't talk much about it because Nyaya believes that Atma is inert. Now, there is a whole bunch of details. I'm not going to go into it, just so that you know. So the Nayayikas believe that Atma is inert, and then how am I sentient and all that? Oh, yeah, Atma is actually inert, but when it comes in contact with the mind, it becomes sentient. That's okay. That's Nayayikas. Vaisheshikas believe that Atma is both inert and sentient. And that's why we are, we are both also. We are inert also, we are sentient also. That's Vaisheshikas. Sankhya comes close because Sankhya then believes that there is a Purusha and there is a Prakriti. Okay, which we also use those terms, but we need to understand what the difference is. So for them, Prakriti is the creator of this world, which we also agree. But what they say is that Prakriti is independent. She has independent power other than the Purusha to create the whole world. And she has created this world on her own. Okay, why did she create the world? For the enjoyment of Purusha. So Purusha enjoys, but she creates without the help of Purusha. So what it comes close to our philosophy is Purusha is Jiva. Because this world is created for the experience of the Jivatma. But they say that that is Purusha. So that is Atma. So, and this is all, they quote Vedas. What they do, these other schools, is they have their own thinking, and then they go into the Vedas and they'll take part of the Vedas where they say, see, this is how it's said, this is how it is said. Okay, so this is the Sankhya school where there is Purusha, there is Prakriti, and Prakriti is independent, she creates, and who does she create for is the Purusha, and there are many Purushas. That is also the difference. So that's why we say, because we say there are many Jivatmas, there are many Jivas, so there are many Purushas. This is Sankhya school. Yoga comes in, and yoga school is by Patanjali, Patanjali Rishi. So they bring in the concept of Ishvara. That's why they are closer to us, because we have the concept of Ishvara. So they say that there is a Purusha, okay, but this Purusha is of two types. One is Ishvara and one is Jiva. This is how they say. And then there is Prakriti, and then Prakriti creates and all that. So they brought in the concept of Ishvara, which was not there in the Sankhya school. Sankhya doesn't believe in Ishvara. Ishvara is in between. Ishvara, they say, is a Vishesha Purusha, because Ishvara doesn't have any sorrow. Ishvara doesn't have any klesha. The 5 kleshas Ishvara doesn't have. That's why Ishvara is superior than Jiva. So Ishvara and Jiva are both parts of Purusha, Purusha Vishesha and Samanya Purusha, so Jiva, and therefore Jiva has got all these sorrows and all that, but Ishvara has no sorrows, nothing. Okay, and then there is the world. Now when we come to Purva Mimamsa are the Karma Kandans. So Purva is before. Karma Kanda in the Vedas, I told you there are 4 parts in the Vedas, or not in this class maybe. Okay. So first is the mantra portion, then the Brahmana portion, which is the Karma Kanda, then the Aranyakas, and then the Upanishads or Vedanta. So this Brahmana portion, Karma Kandans, it is before the Upanishads. It is before Vedanta, right? So that's why it's Purva Mimamsa. Now, Purva Mimamsa people, they have so much faith in karma, so much faith. The rituals, and they say that you can get anything with these rituals, including liberation. So what we object is, yes, anything in the external world you can get by rituals, because in the Vedas there are rituals for everything. You want a son, you want a daughter, you want rain, you want kingdom, you want wealth, you want this, that, everything, the ritual is there. And if you do that ritual properly, it is said that that result will come. But they say that liberation also is a result which can come out of karma. That's where we object. Uttar Mimamsa, where we are, Uttar Mimamsa, we give more, we believe in the Vedas, we believe in Karma Kanda also. We are not denying Karma Kanda at all. The main difference between Karma Kanda and Vedantins, Karma kandins have got absolutely no importance for Upanishads. They say it is only a background music when we do the ritual, when we do the action, some background music that Upanishad has to be played, and that's it. That's it. It's only ornamental. It is only decorative. That is how they say. Whereas what we say, we are not saying karma kanda is decorative and it's not important. We are saying it is extremely important. Yes, it is. But it can only take you up to a certain point. It can only take you up to purifying your mind. Liberation is not possible with karma. And that is the main difference between karma kandins and us, Vedantins. Okay, and Bhagwan Shankaracharya spent most of his life arguing with these karma kandins only. So they also believed in Veda, they also believe in God, everything they believe. That's yes, yes, there is a God, yes, yes, everything. Karma, we also say, yes, you do karma. You want anything in external world, you have to do action. You cannot get things without action. Have you seen? Just suddenly degree came to me, suddenly job came to me, sudden, am I sitting home and somebody is paying me? No, it's fine. But when they say that it will also give you liberation, that's where the Vedantins put their foot down. So we will stop here. I will tell you a little bit more about the Dvaita and the Vishishtadvaita next time. Are there any questions? Om Swasti Prajabhyav Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ